Hey everyone, this is Hal Fickett for Scenes Media, and welcome to our interview with Moriah Peters. Moriah, thanks for chatting with us today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So, Moriah is a Christian singer, songwriter, and actress. Tell
Hmm.
us about the moment when you knew that the Lord wanted you to glorify Him through music and acting.
Hmm. Um, well, with music, it happened a lot earlier than acting.
Okay.
I uh, moved to Nashville when I was 17. I grew up in California, so I was a long ways away from home.
Hmm.
But I knew that music was what I needed to pour my heart, soul, mind, everything into. Because I think there's always been this incredible understanding of like how you can say something in a sentence that comes across one way or is perceived one way, but when you say something through a song, it can be experienced in a completely deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a huge responsibility and a huge power and something that I wanted to be a part of from the time I was at that time 17. So I've been doing that for a few years, and it wasn't until um, I really had acting hit me without even going out and trying. My music video that I put out for a song called Brave
Mm-hmm.
uh, was a very acted video. You know, I
It's very
played two
theatrical.
versions of myself. Yeah, I was like in all black in one outfit and all white in another, and sort of had these opposing sides of a very fearful version of myself and a very brave version of myself.
Mm.
And a director based out of Canada saw that video and reached out to my management company and asked me to audition for a part that would really change my life
Mm.
and throw me into the world of acting by accident almost.
Well, that's quite the story, and I love the kind of evolution from music to acting and the fact that you're able to do both. I think
Mm,
that's wonderful. And
yeah.
as a person of faith, what has your experience been like working in the entertainment industry?
I mean, it's kind of something I've grown up with. I think most people who are in any creative capacity, who are in the greater Los Angeles area, um, are very familiar with the entertainment world. It's hard to avoid it,
Mm-hmm.
as much as you might try. And so I've always had an understanding of what that side of things is, but from a very outsider's perspective point of view, um, and doing the actual film and diving into acting in front of the camera um, for the first time gave me a whole other appreciation for it.
Mm.
I think before I saw it as um, almost a selfish industry, if I could be so bold as to say that, because you only see the sort of glamorous sides of it. Um, but when I did this film, I realized all of the hard work and commitment and teamwork and investment that goes into creating a film that ultimately does a very similar thing that a song does, which is tell a story. And I count myself as very blessed to be
Hmm.
in uh, two lines of work that involve communicating a message on a very creative and deep level.
And music and acting that really allows you to bring yourself to it. I would think in both respects. So, as far as being an avenue of self-expression, and your faith is involved with that, um,
Mm.
it seems like a perfect outlet for you.
It's fun. It's fun. And I can tell you have a similar appreciation to it being a thespian yourself. But
I
yes, it is
do. Yeah, I
fun.
love the entertainment world and being a
Hmm.
part of scenes and the fact that we get to um, discover and talk with amazing artists like yourself. So
Mm.
to kind of jump into the music side of you,
Yeah.
I want to talk about your sophomore album, Brave. which
Yeah.
is a really powerful collection of songs that challenge us to live out our faith as Christians boldly.
Yeah.
And coupled with that album, I love this. It's an initiative called You Are Brave.
Mm.
And I would love to hear the mission behind this movement. And if you could tell us, too, how our readers can participate, that would be great.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I started playing a lot of the songs off my sophomore record live in
Mm-hmm.
concert, I would have people come up to me after shows and just share some of the most powerful and honest and vulnerable, miraculous stories that I'd ever heard. Um, the record was really born out of a place for me of fighting fear and learning how to overcome the things in my life that made me sick and anxious and worried and traumatized
Mm.
and all of those things, because I think living in fear is not really experiencing all the wonderful things that life has to offer. And so when I came to that revelation, I wanted to be able to share that with people as well. And when I was singing these songs about fighting fear and being brave and standing strong, that would bring out these stories in people where they're sharing about how they were experiencing abuse or
Mm.
trauma or these hard circumstances where they were reminded, be brave. You are not alone. There was a girl specifically who shared about how she was in foster home after foster home, and in the middle of being abused, she was in a dark closet, and she literally heard the words, "Be brave. You can do this.
Wow.
Don't give up. You're not alone." And she shared that with me, and she was able to share it because this song reminded her of that moment. And so I didn't want to be selfish with these stories. They impacted me so much, and I knew that they would impact anybody else who came across them as well. So we have a website, youarebrave.com, and that relinks to a page within my site, my personal site. And we've had people share their stories on social media, submit them there using the hashtag #YouAreBrave. And again, the testimonies and experiences that have come out of that just small outlet of welcoming people to share their
Mm-hmm.
experiences has been really, really wonderful.
And I've read some of the stories on your website, mariahpeters.com, and I can really attest to the power of these stories. So I think it's wonderful that you're giving people an avenue to share them. So, as a fan of yours, I appreciate that, and I'm sure others do too. Is this something you're continuing to do, the You Are Brave initiative?
Yeah, so we are really getting stories through the hashtag,
Okay.
through social media. That's where we get most of them submitted. And the cool thing is that you can search that hashtag and you can automatically find other stories that might relate to your own.
Right.
So it's been cool to kind of grow this community of brave men and women who encourage me, and in turn, get to inspire one another.
Yeah, that's the beautiful side of social media. The
Mm-hmm.
ability to create community
Yeah.
and bring down those geographical barriers,
Yeah.
that we face.
Sure.
Okay, so to shift our focus here a little bit, I want to talk about your upcoming film Because of Gracia that you're starring in. And to talk about the movie, I found it to be a really moving portrait of a group of high school students who are trying to live out their faith and experiencing the ups and downs of young adulthood. Can you tell us about the movie in your own words?
Yeah, well said. That's really, really well put. I mean, I would absolutely echo the way that you described it and add that I love that this main character's name is Gracia, because I think the theme of grace is woven throughout the story in ways that we're not typically used to experiencing it. You know, usually, you know, you hear the word grace and you think about, you know, you think it's a religious term, or you think it's, you know, only associated with Jesus on the cross, and absolutely, but that stems into so many other ways of being to extend that kind of humility to other people.
Yeah.
And what I love is that this film tackles so many themes that are tough topics to cover. Things like teenage pregnancy and bullying and peer pressure and religious freedoms within the four walls of a classroom. You know, relationship dynamics with parents and boyfriends who are not so great and boyfriends who are really wonderful. And, you know, there's a lot of controversial things that the movie touches on, but it does it in ways that are so subtle and so gracious. That's initially what drew me to the script, but it's also what drew me to the director, Tom, is that I don't know why he let me do this, but I would be very vocal about, like, hey, you know, I am sensitive to this idea that we have to be, you know, as Christians, these people who have all the answers to everything, and that we have to be right all the time, and we have to convince everybody of what we believe, and we have to win arguments. Like, to me, that's not the point. The point is not in what we say, but it's in how we say it. And, you know, I experienced this firsthand in high school myself. You know, I had a lot of difficult conversations with people that I didn't necessarily see eye to eye with on everything. But in the end, we could walk out of the classroom after an argument and still hug and be friends and love one another and respect one another, because the way that the conversations were handled were so loving and gracious and understanding of one another. And the point was never to be right. The point was to share perspective and, you know, love on the other person in the process.
So yeah, it sounds like there were multiple layers that drew you to this specific story. And it sounds like the creative process was a really blessed one. Do you still keep in touch with a lot of the people that you starred in the movie with? Are you in contact with them, kind of moving into the release of the film?
Yes, very much so. Particularly my co-star, Chris.
Okay.
You know, we've become good friends since doing the film. But the thing that blows my mind the most is what I've been able to stay involved with from a design perspective. I love creating media content. I love the visual arts. I love marketing. That's what I went to school for, and I have such a passion for great design. And the film team, the promo team, the distribution team, the marketing team, they invited me and a group of women that I work with here in Nashville on a lot of my creative art stuff to redesign and reface the project. So basically, we've been involved in everything from helping create the poster and the graphics and the logos to, in 2 days from now, we're going to be launching the first draft of the website. And we created all the banners and all the lighting and all the themes and logos and color schemes for the social media account. So we'll be adding skins to all of that and creating the profile images. And so those are like the little details that I absolutely love when you get to communicate a story or a project to an audience. And so in a couple of days, we're launching that, and I'm super proud of how it looks. And I think it really communicates the quality of the film in how we're presenting it online. So yeah, very, very much involved in the team still.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so, the big question is, when can we expect Because of Gracia to be released in movie theaters?
In September.
All right.
I'm so excited. Yes, we get to finally share this story with the world, and it's going to be in select theaters around the country.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm hoping to be able to go to a few showings that weekend and show my support in some of
Hmm.
my favorite cities. So yeah, I'll hopefully be able to see people there.
Well, I'm really looking forward to tracking the success of the film.
Thank you.
And thank you for chatting with us today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Great questions. Very great
Oh,
questions.
thank you. Well, I will look forward to staying in touch then.
Thank you. Me too. Me too. And I really do appreciate you taking the time to put all of this together. It was very well thought out, and um, I'm glad you enjoyed the film. Well, at least it seems like you enjoyed it.
I did enjoy the film, and I would encourage other people to see it as well and be blessed by it. And
Mm,
you clearly worked with a lot of talented people on this
mm,
project. And I love
yeah.
that you're continuing to work with them as
Mm,
the process moves forward. So,
mm.
congratulations on your fine
Thank
work.
you. Thank you so much, Hal. I appreciate it.